Utter panic in the markets today. Now, what is likely going on here? Well, to say for sure, we don't know, but usually within a few days, we have some on-chain analysis that we can dissect what really caused the massive dumping that happened today. But let me just make some guesses, and this is just guesses based on experience. My guess is that some whales are dumping. Now, why in the world would they dump? Well, there are some very good reasons why they dump, and it is always to make some money. It also causes further dumping. So if they take some short positions and then they dump, they end up dumping right at the top because they know where the top is going to be because they're going to force it to lows from here. So they make money not only from selling at whatever top they decide it's going to be, but as well they take some short positions that then there's some major dumping that happens initiated by them, but then it causes some longs to be liquidated, which causes cascade effects, as well as many other people see it and they dump too out of fear, and so they end up making a lot from those shorts. And you say, oh my gosh, Rain, why would they do that? Well, it's to make money. And they say, isn't that illegal? Well, no, not really, not in this unregulated space. And even if it was illegal, they do this in the major markets. They just don't do it as transparently. And they have a lot more intricate ways of doing it. So just because you make something illegal and you put regulators in charge of it, realize how much banks pay in fines per year for violations, and yet they continue doing those violations. Why? Because they make more money by the violations than what they pay in fines. So they're just making business decisions. Now, is that fair? Life is fairly unfair to everyone. And the sooner we all realize that and realize, well, we're not looking for fairness. We are looking for justice as much as possible. But that, yes, it's not going to be fair. And regulators don't necessarily make things fair, even though that is the intent behind giving them the power we give them. It doesn't often work out the way that we expect. I refer to this a lot in life as the law of unintended consequences. Certain consequences we intend, but by certain actions, there are also unintended consequences. So getting regulators involved doesn't necessarily solve the problems. It may make them a little less transparent, a little harder to detect, but usually that goes on. So personally, I prefer keep the regulators out of it and just understand that this is going to happen. And so it does feel rough as it happens to your portfolio, right? Now, if you're new to crypto, this may be the first time and you're looking at it panicking like, oh my gosh. So let's talk about what this is all about. This happens frequently as there end up being a whole lot of longs. Sometimes some whales, I think, get together and they force some cascading liquidations like this, as well as some panic selling. Now, what happens after this? Oftentimes a big run up. So is this a bad thing? No, not really. This is specifically why I do not leverage trade in this environment, because leverage trading, you can be right in that things are going to go up tremendously from here and just be wrong for one day and get either stopped out or worse, liquidated. So what I want to talk to you about today isn't just what's going on in the market. It's actually a good day to talk about taking profit strategies. Not that I'm taking profits off the table today. No, I sell and take profits when things are up, when the FOMO is real and palpable. And that's when I take profits, not on days like today. But the reason why it's a good day to talk about this is because when the market gets extremely parabolic, everyone gets over exuberant and they forget that days like this happen. And you'll start to hear sayings like, oh, Rain, this is never going to go down from here. Oh my gosh, we're entering a new paradigm. This is just going to continue going up and up and up and up. And we forget days like this where we watch how fiercely and suddenly things can correct. And so this should exemplify to all of us why taking profits during the parabolic move that I think is coming. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't know for sure. Lots of data suggests that it will likely play out that way. We don't know for certain. I definitely have my assets in place expecting that it will. And maybe I'm wrong on this. Who knows? And if I'm wrong, I will totally get wrecked. If I'm right, it'll be amazing. So what is taking profits all about? Well, let's talk about that. There's strategy number one, and we call this the little old lady strategy. Now, this is the most sure way to lock in gains. It's also the most conservative way. So imagine you buy something and you put $10,000 into it. Let's use a simpler number. Say you put $1,000 into that token, and the token price at the time is a penny a piece. Now, I'm not going to do the math as to how many tokens you have. It's actually simpler than that. That literally every time the price doubles, you sell off 50% of what you have. So you put $1,000 into it. When the price doubles from 1 penny to 2 pennies, you sell off half. And what happens is you've now recouped your initial investment. Everything you still have involved in there is a free ride. You set up these sell orders often if it's on an exchange right away, so they just happen automatically, because as much as there can be a big spike down, there can be a big spike up. And you might even get like 8 of your orders hit in one big parabolic move that might even happen while you're sleeping. And so your first sell order would be at 2 cents, and you would sell off half of what you have. That would recoup your initial $1,000 investment. Your second sell order would be at 4 cents. See, that's double from the 2 cents. So at 4 cents, you're going to sell off half of what you have left, which will be a quarter of what your total initial investment was. And when that sell order executes, if it does, it's going to give you an amount equal to your original investment. So essentially you get another $1,000. Then you put another sell order for half of what you then have remaining. So that sell order would be at 8 cents. And when that sells, you get another $1,000 out. Now, that's a pretty conservative method to do, but it's the slow and steady wins the race. Because likely, if we're right on bull market still having plenty of run left, then you might get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these doubles happening. And every time you do, you're essentially doubling the amount that you put in. So if 10 of these different events happen, essentially you'll put 1,000 in and you'll pull 10,000 back out. So now that's a lot of doubles. Is that going to happen? Who knows? But what's safe about this is if there is plenty of bull run left, oftentimes you'll get at least 1 or 2 doubles there. So you've gotten your money back out. You still have plenty of tokens left. And maybe you end up sitting on plenty of those tokens for the following bull run. And maybe they end up going to 0. But you've gotten a bunch of your money out. Does that make sense? Now, you can kind of take this and make a hybrid of it. What do I mean by a hybrid of it? Well, what if you sold, say, 25% when it quadrupled? So what you would end up doing is getting your initial back out, but you still have 75% of your tokens. Now, which of these to use, that's really up to you. I don't use the little old lady strategy except in a bear market when I'm just trying to play some swings. When I feel pretty strong that a price is going to possibly up to 10x from here, I'm not likely to take profits till it, say, 5x's from here. And then I might pull out my initial. I might pull out my initial plus another double from that or something to take some profits in case it doesn't hit what I'm expecting. But if I had done it right at the little old lady strategy, I'd leave a lot of extra money on the table. But it does increase my risk if I'm not pulling any out till it 5x's. Does that make sense? So how do you know what numbers to set? Well, you don't. You're just making guesses on what to set. So some of this comes from being around, analyzing what things do, what's realistic, what's probable, what's possible, and just making your best guesses at where it could go from here. It's never a bad idea to sell half on the double and get your initial money back out. It puts you in a strong position so that then you're cash liquid in case you're wrong about when the timing of the big pullback comes. You might end up leaving a ton of money on the table doing it that conservatively, but we don't know till later. And only hindsight is 20/20. Before that, we're just making guesses. Does that make sense? It also depends on how much risk tolerance you have. Now, if you're truly playing with money that you can't afford to lose, It's easier to be riskier than if you're playing with money that if you lost, it would hurt you. You have to be smart and be more conservative with that. You have to be. Because if you go really risky, it can cause you other harm, cause you a lot of sleepless nights. It's not worth it. We probably have more bull run here. Then we're going to have a big pullback. We're going to have a crypto winter. There might be a few projects that do well during the crypto winter, but generally most things will probably pull back, which will lead to some big lows again, which is a great time to stock up. And then we'll probably have another run in starting 3 years from now. And we'll hopefully have some more parabolic moves and gains. Some things that in your portfolio, if you buy them at the bottom of crypto winter, they might 10x, they might 50x, a few of them might 100x, maybe even more. And so this isn't your last and only chance to make big gains. And if you try to force that through lack of patience, it usually, not always, but usually doesn't end as well for you. Does that make sense? So I did want to share my screen because, well, you may be wondering, okay, so I've taken out some profits into stable coins. What do I do with them? Well, that is a question that only you can answer for yourself. But I will share with you what my plan is. Now, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a crypto investor myself. I'm definitely a human myself. I happen to be really analytical in my personality. I happen to be really good at economics as well as the psychology of human behavior. But I'm not magic, and I don't have a crystal ball either. But I have been involved in crypto since 2017. It has gone very well for me after going badly. In 2017, I didn't understand about the cycles. I rode about $15,000 up to 150 or 165,000, and then rode it all the way down to 3,000 because I didn't take profits. I didn't understand I didn't understand how severe the pullbacks could be. I'm kind of a patient guy when it comes to investing anyway. That patience did not pay off well in the short term. What did pay off is I didn't go anywhere during the crypto winter. I stayed right involved in the market, watching everything, and as the prices got really cheap, I continued to put in every extra penny I could while everything was vastly on fire sale. And wouldn't you know, that worked out really good. So I hope you make a commitment to yourself to not only be there this bull run or be here, but also during the crypto winter and the following bull run, because who knows how much you can make left in this bull market. Hopefully there's plenty of gains to be made. You can take some profits, roll them into some of the things I'm going to talk with you about, and then you can buy cheap when it gets cheap. So what am I rolling into? Well, I've been analyzing this for about 6 months, and I don't have all the answers on exactly what I'm going to do, but I have some of them. So sharing my screen here, obviously that's Bitcoin, ADA. Look at this huge wick down, and that is the whales playing. And yeah, that came a little bit earlier than expected, but usually this happens right as a major upgrade comes out. Now, Ethereum had a major upgrade coming out, and it's the first time I saw where at the actual event it actually climbed a lot higher. That's unusual. I didn't know how this would play out because Ethereum played out weird. When the actual event happened, usually there's then a sell-off, and there was actually a big price increase. So one of the platforms, and I have some links below, and I've had them in my videos for a while, and that is Freeway Token, or Aubit. Now, there's different logins, and you'll see one for the U.S. and one for general and the general. They've been working on the U.S. regulations so that they can be compliant and open this to U.S. investors. They're still working on the interface for the U.S. investors. You can go ahead and create an account there. You can actually submit a ticket to fund your account if you want on the U.S., or you can wait. You can create an account and then wait for a month while they get that interface connected up so that you can more directly see your funds going in. I'm not taking profits and rolling them over to this yet. I did put $1,000 with them a month ago. I'll share with you in the coming months kind of what that's going to. But what attracts me to Aubit is they have some supercharger products. Now, you do have to own the Freeway token in order to be eligible for the supercharger products. Freeway token right now is playing about just under 1 penny. Their market cap is pretty reasonable at 18 million. And this may really skyrocket in the coming bull market. So I've loaded up on a bunch of Freeway token, which I will be then loading into essentially my account, so that I think you have to hold 25% of your value overall in Freeway token in order to maximize the supercharger. And the supercharger, say on the stable coins, can pay up to 40%. So imagine you make some pretty good gains and you put in, say, 100,000. Now, I am not going to put all my gains into any one platform. I am going to, this will probably be one of my larger places that I'm in, because nothing else pays 40%. But just understand there's always risks. They could get hacked. Their mechanisms that they use to make the extra gains could break down and they have to stop trading on it, and then your gains will be greatly delayed. They have some safety mechanisms that to help kind of ensure it, but if their mechanism that they use for the gains slow down or stop working, then they have to, it might take weeks or months, and then you don't end up getting that rate. Essentially, if they have to halt all trading activities on what they use that money for, then who knows, if it was a month or two, your rate might go to zero. But at 40%, nothing else can touch that kind of rate right now on stablecoins. So is there some risk? I would say there's more risk than normal. And there's some other places that I'm going to diversify into as well. But I wanted to start with this one because the rate of return is potentially the highest. Now, I know some friends that have accounts with them that have some money, and their supercharger has been paying out pretty regularly. In fact, in excess of 40%. It is highly regulated. They're out of the UK. This isn't some like pyramid scheme. There were some lending platforms in 2017 that were very high risk, and they paid out like 1% a day, which is unsustainable. That's like 300% a year, and it seems like really what they were doing was some kind of pyramid scheme, and depending on more money coming in, they were using some of that money to pay out as well as keeping some of it, and eventually they would run off with everyone's money. But not a single one of them ever registered with all the compliancy agencies and everything. Why? Because they then would have been arrested and sent to jail. And, if they tried to escape the country, they would have wanted posters with their name, all their identity information everywhere. And so Aubit has gone to great lengths to be completely legally compliant, not only in the UK, which has really strict laws, but in the US that has even stricter laws. And so that gives me some peace of mind, as well as I've been in discussions with them for about 6 months. And so the more I've gotten to know them and spoken with them lots over the months, the better I feel about this, that this is going to be one of my plays. Now, I'll do a more dedicated video on Freeway token at another time. I have covered it some in the past. I will be covering it more. This is just one of the things in the back of my mind of one of my strategies for getting some passive income while I'm waiting for the market to settle. Does that make sense? And if you put 100,000, say you made $1 million in gains. So if in that scenario, if I had $1 million in gains, personally, I'd probably be making the decision to put about 300,000 in this one. Because at that 40% number, that could be up to 120,000 a year in gains while I'm waiting for the market to settle. Some other places that I plan on putting some gains is a product or a company that I've known for a while and I like, and they've never really disappointed me, and that is Celsius. Now, their actual app runs on a phone, and you can deposit fairly easy. Withdrawals happen fairly quickly. They do have some security measures, and you do have to go through KYC and everything so that they can report the gains that you make to the proper authorities. That's going to be normal for this, and you want that because that means that also all the regulators have all their information. It means that they're a lot less likely to run off with your stuff. And Alex Mashinsky, the CEO of this company, has been very transparent for years. And so Celsius is one of those that can earn pretty good gains. And on their USDC and USDT, it's often anywhere between 6 to 8%. Another one that I'm really interested in is crypto.com. And so crypto.com is also an app on your phone. It also has an exchange that you can trade between, but you can earn up to 12% depending on how many crypto.com coins that you have. And so crypto.com is one of my plans as well. And so Celsius, I'll be probably putting in a lower amount than I will be in crypto.com. There will be some others that I'll be putting into, but I want to kind of give you an idea of some of the options out there. Does that make sense? So I don't have a crypto.com referral link yet. I will have one soon, and I will post that below. Celsius, I'll have a link below if you want that. I think if you sign up with the account and you fund it, so if you and I both get a small gift in Bitcoin or some kind of credit in the realm of $25 to $40. And then Freeway Token, I do have a referral link that if you sign up, it does help out the channel, and we appreciate anybody who does that. You don't have to use it. We just appreciate if you do. As for other platforms, there are many, and I will be putting more effort and research into that probably in a month or two, because that's when I'll probably start taking out little bits. Now, as I see things go parabolic and I start to hear the words that, wow, it's never going to come down from here again, that's one of my cues that it is absolutely going to come down from here at some point. And that will, I guess, up my timeline for selling. And so I usually have my ear to the market that way and ear to sentiment, because even if you look at something as simple as the fear and greed index and you see greed go sky high for quite a while, that's usually concerning, because what goes up always does come down. It always has. There's no reason to believe it won't this time, unless the governments around the world continue printing out money, dollars, euros, like it's nobody's business. And you might think, well, they're already doing that. Yes, not quite to the extent that it will completely deflate the economy, or completely make dollars and euros lose all their value, but definitely to some concerning levels. So will that continue? Probably. What I hope is it doesn't continue to accelerate in pace, because that would be concerning. So here's the options in front of us. We can just hold all of our money, all of our gains in crypto. That is an option. I've been down that road before. It was not fun during the retracement, and even though US dollars and euros were being printed pretty heavily then, not as heavily as now, it was a lot safer place to be than even Bitcoin, which still pulled back like, what was it, 80%? Ethereum pulled back 95%, and most altcoins pulled back between 98 to 99.9%. So would you have rather been in US dollars during that, or even in euros during that? I would have, and I was not. So I experienced almost the full weight of that pullback, and it was rough. I don't want to go through that again. I am keeping an eye on how much printing is going on. It's concerning, but not extremely, extremely concerning, at least at this point. So if I do note something like that and I change this overall plan, I will definitely let you know. I will be covering this topic more in the coming months, and I think you can see why. Well, I do want to thank all of you for joining us. I'm back at the command center today. I have been enjoying from my home office the videos there, because it does save me a 35-minute drive each way and allows me to get more done in general during the day. But, man, I was missing my command center and wanted to do a video for you from here. So we will see you all soon.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you're good. Was taught to buy when it was pouring like the rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I'll always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that, and I'll wait for the right time. I'll sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Why when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and a feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the game show. Sticking at this run cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. In 2 years time the bull will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, but time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.